The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. High intensity of fighting remains in the Kupyansk direction. The situation in the city continues to deteriorate for the Russian side. The goal is not only to restore control over Kupyansk, but also in the territory to the north on the right bank of the Oskol River. During the onslaught, the enemy managed to cut off Russian units from their main forces through the northern part of the city with numerical superiority. The blockage did not occur yesterday or the day before yesterday, but approximately between December 11th and 17th. The soldiers, who found themselves in the center of the western part of the city, fiercely resisted. The main reason for the numerical advantage was due to the fact that part of the units that could have participated in suppressing the attacking attempts of the armed forces of Ukraine was withdrawn since, according to reports, the city was liberated, as if there were an excess number due to the unnecessary assault operations in the city. It was officially announced on November 21st. Russian artillery, aircraft, and troops of unmanned systems continued and continue to process Ukrainian assault groups on a daily basis. For example, in northwestern Blagodatovka, one of the Ukrainian armed forces hid at a bus stop. The cameraman tried to hit him. It flew nearby, so at most he was injured. On average, 2 kamikaze drones can be safely spent on one. Still, if at first the Russian country had a quantitative superiority in drones, now it no longer does. In another example, in the northwestern part of the city, aerial reconnaissance detected an enemy temporary deployment point. The calculation of a tornado with a rocket partially destroyed this building. On December 18th, in the northeastern part of the city, there was a sign of the loss of control over the mesoconservative plant. The next day's report showed the movement of a ground drone from the north of this enterprise, where, according to the description, it was reported on the logistics of the armed forces of Ukraine. The platform performed a function in the delivery of material support. It also returned back. Later, textual information related to the loss of control over the plant began to appear. Additionally, the collision line is being pushed back almost to the northern outskirts of the city, including the right bank. It is possible that there are still small groups of 2 to 3 people in separate places in the environment. North of Kupyansk, the enemy is pressing to enter Golubovka in order to also cut off Russian groups from their forces. On the western side, the front line is also shifting in the direction of Golubovka. So far, the trend remains towards the fact that in a special military operation, soldiers will have to take Kupyansk for the 3rd time. The Ukrainian command stubbornly strives to achieve success, at least in this area of military operations. Additional information has appeared in the Peshanovo area. There was no reliable control over this point, especially over Kurilovka. In that village, the maximum was only a discharge along the structure of the eastern part of the settlement in mid-December. At the same time and later, the enemy's processing of the eastern point was shown. An adjustment is being made to align the front lines. Fighting continues in the Red Army area. In Radinsky, before the assault, the military subjects the enemy's temporary deployment points to dense processing so that the infantry protects them with less resistance. In the northwestern part of the city, the Smerch or Tornado S gunners joined the work. The building was half destroyed by a rocket shell. After that, the fighters joined the action. In the footage, the operator showed the approach of the combat too. You can also see the effects of the arrival in the central part of the building, adding to the progress to the marked point. A workflow is also underway in the southeastern part. A small explosion was shown in the building. Most likely, given the description, the infantryman dropped an internal engineering munition. The plot remains unchanged. In the encircled Dmitriev, the Russian side is worsening the situation of the remnants of the Ukrainian garrison. The designation of Russian positions began to be fixed near the residential districts. The northernmost example of the 3 is shown. The Ukrainian armed forces, using a kamikaze drone, hit the building. Other drones captured the moment of defeat. The controlled territory is expanding from the eastern side, taking into account the designated locations. Russian troops continue to put pressure on the Zaporizhzhia area. After crossing the Gaichur River, motorized rifle units of the 37th Brigade advanced 6 kilometers along the front during offensive operations, where they later liberated Kosovtsevo. In addition to taking the village, the soldiers almost came close to the logistical thorn and also reached the outskirts of Priluki. In the battles for this point, the enemy's losses amounted to up to a platoon of manpower. To the south, the guards of the Fifth Army are at a crucial stage in the battle for Hulyaipole. To the north of the city, the front line is leveling off in a positive direction, up to the water barrier. In the center of Hulyaipole, motorized rifle units of the 57th Brigade removed the Ukrainian flag from the monument to Makhno and tied the banner of their unit on his shoulders. They treated the Russian revolutionary, who once fought against Ukrainian nationalists such as Petliura, with all due respect. Promotion is being added mainly in the central part of the city. Warriors and Far Easterners continue to move forward. Russian troops continue to hit Ukrainian military installations. In the Chernihiv region, in the Gnadinsy and Pryluki districts, Gerain was hit by fuel containers. At the beginning of the shooting, the drone targets the reservoirs of the gas storage station, which is located just south of the Gnadinsy settlement. The station mainly consists of horizontal steel tanks. One row was already hit. The capacity of one tank is 100 cubic meters. Approximately 200 cubic meters were destroyed in total, plus the damage of the current drone, which is hitting a nearby row of tanks. There was no objective control of the consequences of his defeat in the video. A little to the northwest is the Gnadintsev gas processing plant. Larger vertical tanks with a capacity of 5,000 cubic meters are installed there. In objective control, one can see the burning out of one of the 4 of this type. According to the Google map, there are 8 of them, but in the satellite image from November of this year, there are 4 left. Now there are 3. The damage was more noticeable. The third action took place in the southern part of the village of Pryluki. The operator showed the fuel storage facility in which at least 2 of the 3 reservoirs with a capacity of 3,000 cubic meters each were eliminated. In the video, it was the maximum defeat compared to other places. In the 4th event, the hit was more related to the auxiliary one. A little to the south, a horizontal reservoir with a capacity of 50 cubic meters was burning. Russian troops regularly process enemy storage facilities so that they have problems with fuel. The fighting continues.